What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of the holotables, and welcome back to another Galaxy of Heroes video. Today we are looking at the kit reveal of Death Trooper Peridiea. That is right, the next requirement that we've got for Galactic Legend Ahsoka Tano, and it's about to get chompy up in this business. Let's go check it out. It has not been long at all since the kit reveal has dropped on the official forums, and I know what you're thinking, guys. When, oh when, are they going to release a dark mode for the new EA forums? Please, my retinas are burning. I think I'm getting cataracts from looking at this new website. But apart from that, isn't it great? Right? Cool. Okay, so let's go check it out. We do know that this is going to be one of the other requirements we need for Galactic Legend Ahsoka Tano alongside Captain Enoch. If we go ahead and take a quick look at the Ahsoka Tano hub, just over here, we can actually see that this first set of requirements is what we had back when we had the release of the Night Trooper, with Grand Admiral Thrawn not being a requirement, but General Anakin Skywalker, Asajj, Night Trooper, and Snips being required here. I'm imagining this second release has got to be this round of requirements coming here. Now, I have a feeling we're not going to get the rest of the requirements just yet, because we do know that Death Trooper Peridiea, who we're going to look at just now, and Captain Enoch, who's supposedly probably coming in about 2 weeks' time, are these two here. Now, I don't think they're going to officially confirm that, because it does go into the journey guide in game, and typically we can't have something in the journey guide until all the kits are actually in the game with their assets. So I think these two announcements here for these light side kits, we're not going to be able to see that for another couple of weeks yet, when Captain Enoch is officially announced and released to the game. Back to Death Trooper Peridiea. Ow, my eyes. Okay, so let's take a look. Key attributes of Death Trooper Peridiea. I haven't really had a look at this kit yet. We're doing it live with you guys right here in a recorded format, so not even live, a little bit with you guys right here. Nombo breaker. I mean, he's going for a double bubble extra trouble business going on here. Going with a combo breaker, but also trying to get a little bit of nomage going on. Use the execute ability to get an ability cooldown reset and a bonus turn. That's pretty sick. AoE ability that perfectly sets up the execute ability, and a great way to ignore taunt. You know who you are. I do know who I am. I'm Scribble. How you doing? Death Trooper Peridiea continues to build off the new Blight debuff that we saw a lot of action with Night Trooper, helping to spread Blight across the enemy teams and applying additional effects to different enemies if they were already inflicted with Blight. And we do know that there's a little something coming with Captain Enoch, who's going to be passing something called Decay. That's going to be a new debuff. Maybe it's going to be something that, you know, hampers, lowers the enemy stats, makes them hurt or take damage, just like we see with Plague or something like that. With his Omnomicron, hey, I use that all the time. It's almost like Meathead watches my videos. Hey, Meathead, if you watch my videos, I want you to sound off in the comment section down below. Guys, hold Meathead accountable. If he does sound off in the comment section down below, say thank you to Meathead for all the great giveaways he's been giving to the community recently. Love y'all. All right, inspiration. Thrawn's Death Troopers are brutal and scary, and we wanted them to lean into that for these specific Death Troopers. The Peridea's special ability, Just a Little Nibble, was inspired by the blink and you miss it moment where he attempts to bite Sabine's arm, only to have her block it with her Beskar Vambrace. Lovely. Death Trooper's skill rotation varies depending on whether or not he's in territory wars with his Omicron. So he is a TW Omicron character. That's okay, pretty much expected with Night Trooper Apologies getting a Grand Arena Omicron. I imagine that we'll probably see Captain Enoch potentially get TB Omis, with my long-term thoughts being this particular Imperial Remnant team is going to shift over to a new Galactic Legend Thrawn in the future, and Thrawn probably won't have any additional Omicrons for GAC because they don't tend to give them to Galactic Legends. That means we're going to have one character per game mode essentially for the Imperial Remnants, Territory Wars, Territory Battles, and Grand Arena. Crit damage is your friend. He tries to boost this. Whilst Death Trooper Peridiea works under existing leads, he's really waiting for the right captain to come along and lead him. I don't think they're talking about Captain Enoch. Do you? Yeah, they're talking about Captain Enoch. When's he coming out? He's coming out in just a couple of days' time. On Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, he is going to be a new marquee under the new marquee structure, so if you're going to be doing any whaling, it's in your interest. If you have any crystals, try to at least get Captain Enoch when he comes out, but more importantly, get Death Trooper Peridiea up to at least 4 stars with your crystals if you can afford the crystals, just to gain those additional shards throughout the coming week, and you will be very happy that you did so. He is required at Relic 7 for Galactic Legend Ahsoka Tano. We assumed that this was the case back when they did the official announcement in the Road Ahead earlier this year. Let's go and check out his abilities then. His basic is Firing by Rise of the Empire. No, by Rote. He's actually got a really big cannon there. I was watching this episode of Ahsoka earlier today, and the gun they use is absolutely enormous. Booyah, baby. Deal physical damage to the target enemy with a 40% chance to inflict a stack of blight. That's awesome, which can't be copied or dispelled until the end of the encounter. If the target enemy has already got blight, it's going to deal double damage. This guy is going to pop off the chains. If this attacker scores a critical hit, Imperial Remnant allies are going to gain offense up for 1 turn. Otherwise, he's going to gain crit chance up for a turn. That's kind of cool. It's like if he doesn't crit, he's gaining crit chance up. If he does crit, everybody gains offense up. That's kind of sick. I say everyone. All Imperial Remnants are. While in Territory Wars, if Death Trooper Peridiea has their Omicron activated, gain 5 stacks of Siphon. Oh my days, he's got a Siphon stack. This is going to be sick. Siphon is, of course, a method of increasing your own mastery whilst absorbing it from the enemy. You can't siphon off Galactic Legends, but you can siphon off other enemy characters. Really, really cool. Special one is just a little nibble. Yeah, out of all of the enemy kits that they could have chosen for this Death Trooper Peridiea to go ahead and have a nibble of, did they really have to choose, the fully mechanical Imperial probe droid? He's just literally biting chunks out of metal and for some reason sprays a bunch of green goop. I don't get it. But whatever. Final text. Deal physical damage to the target enemy and inflict blight. 2 of his attacks so far already do blight, which can't be copied or dispelled until the end of the encounter. If the target enemy already had it, inflict 2 stacks of damage over time for 2 turns and remove 5% turn meter from the target enemy 3 times. Yeah, which is then going to trigger the blight and they're going to take true damage. That's kind of sick. I like it. If this ability takes an enemy below 10% health, instant defeat. This ability defeats an enemy Darth Trooper Peridiea gains a bonus turn and the cooldown of this ability is reset. That's kind of cool. So if you're constantly lowering the enemy's max health, they drop below that 10% threshold. Boom, insta-kill, bonus turn, he does it again. How cool is that? If he's got the Territory War Omicron and all allies are either Imperial Remnant or even Night Sisters, at the start of battle, Peridiea siphons off crit damage from the target enemy, which can't be resisted. If this ability takes an enemy below 20% health, they are instantly defeated. If the target enemy already had Blight, also inflict Armor Shred. Wow. That's actually pretty huge. So a 20% damage threshold is really high, and this is where we're going to start to see that mastery sapping, and he's sapping off crit damage. So this guy is going to do stupid amounts of damage in the long term. All we need to have over here is every single time that we do this firing by rote, every single time we do this basic over here, he's going to gain 5 stacks of siphon, which means when he used this just a little nibble, he's siphoning off, up to, per stack of siphon is the percentile. So if he's done it once, 5% siphon. If he's got 10 siphon, it's 10%. Siphoning off all the crit damage from the enemy team, ramping up your own, making this team an absolute nightmare. We already know with a Dark Trooper Moff Gideon team, it's a very tanky, durable team. It survives. That means the longer this battle goes on, this Death Trooper Peridiea is going to get insane. It's going to be a tricky team to get around, I'm saying it now. Alright, so special number 2 is Necrotic Tissue, a cooldown of 3. He doesn't have very good spatial awareness. He runs right up to the enemy and drops a live grenade at their feet. That thermal detonator then blasts him back. I absolutely love the animation on this, it's sick. Deal physical damage to all enemies and inflict offense down and tenacity down for 2 turns. AoE tenacity down is sick. It's a shame it comes after the offense down. Looks like that offense down has got a chance to be resisted. If the ally in the leader slot is an Imperial Remnant support, which Dark Trooper Moff Gideon is not, but we know that Captain Enoch will be, dispel all buffs on all enemies. That's kind of huge. Unfortunately, again, this happens before we do the actual damage, which means it's not going to get clear off things like Foresight. Foresight will scupper this, but it will take off things like Tenacity up and Offense up and crit damage up and all that good business. If the target already had Blight, inflict a stack of Blight, which isn't copied or which can't be copied or dispelled, and a random enemy that does not already have it gets it until the end of the encounter. All allies are going to gain Offense up and speed up for 2 turns. In Territory Wars, if he's got the Omicron, this ability deals additional damage equal to 40% of his crit damage, and Death Trooper Peridiea is going to gain 10 stacks of Siphon for each debuff inflicted with this ability. Wow, is that going to be really, really strong. That's absolutely huge. He's going to inflict Blight. If the target already had it, it's going to go to another random enemy. And then he's going to gain 10 stacks of Siphon, which is, massive for his mastery siphoning. He's going to ramp pretty quickly. He also has a unique called In Your Head, and that's a throwback to the Cranberries, the zombie song. In your head, zombie. That's beautiful. I love it. It's full of puns. Death Trooper Peridiea gains 25 speed. Imperial Remnant allies have got a 35% additional crit chance and offense. Night Sister allies have got 35% extra max health and max protection. If the ally in the leader slot is not an Imperial Remnant tank, whenever an Imperial Remnant ally is dazed, stunned, shocked, or inflicted with speed down, all Imperial Remnant allies are going to gain a maximum of plus 15 speed, stacking up to plus 60 for the rest of the battle. Whenever an Imperial Remnant ally is crit, remove 3% turn meter from all enemies. Again, that's going to trigger Blight's unique ability to deal true damage. Death Trooper Peridiea is going to gain 5% turn meter, stacking for each stack of Blight inflicted on the enemy. This is huge. This is such a cool kit. He is going to be popping off, ramping up crit damage, siphoning it off the opponents. The opponent's going to do less and less crit damage to you, whilst he ramps up pretty much infinitely. So being able to crit on this team is going to be absolutely critical. Gosh, just pass me that dad joke trophy. I think I've earned it. What do you think, tribe? And yeah, of course, he's spreading additional Blight. Let's see how this is going to work under Captain Enoch. One little thing before we do leave. This over here, previously they said that if the leader is a remnant support over here, it's going to dispel all debuffs. Over here, it says if the ally leader is not an Imperial Remnant tank, whenever Imperial Remnant allies are dazed or stunned, I think this over here is supposed to give him just that little bit of additional synergy with Night Sisters, as well as giving extra synergy with Captain Enoch. I don't think long-term this guy belongs in a Night Sister team, but I think there could be some fun stuff that we can put together before we get Captain Enoch into the game. Let's all do a little bit of experimentation when we can, just to see where this kit can actually take us. Overall, I'm going to pass it over to you wonderful folks at home of the tribe. Let me know what you think about new Death Trooper Peridiea. When do you think we're getting the next round of Ahsoka Tano requirements? And I don't know, how'd you like my shiny head today? Make sure you do hit that like button, comment, and tell me what is your favorite part of this kit. And a big shout out to my wonderful, wonderful patrons. You guys are absolutely awesome. I really do appreciate your support. You guys are the business. I'm going to see you all in the very next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.